Hello friends, welcome back. I'm posting this video after a small gap because there were some professional exigencies, therefore I could not post the video, but I will keep on posting video on regular intervals and without any much break. So last time we discussed about the risk and reward of about the building block of risk management. Today we will discuss the types of risk. So today we will discuss how many types of risk are there and little bit of their theoretical definitions. So for types of risk we can say is market risk. This is one of the risk. Then we can say credit risk. Then we have operational risk. We can have liquidity risk. Then we can say the regulatory risk. And we can have legal risk. So these are the 5-6 major risks that when we indulge in any kind of a transaction, so this kind of the risk potential is there. So let me discuss with today market risk and credit risk, and if time permits the other risk as well. Market risk itself, this name suggests, is the risk related to the market. Suppose you have long position in an equity or any shares, and there is a bad news coming for the particular company, then its shares can go down. And if suppose you have some fixed income securities and suddenly the yields goes up because of rate hike by the central bank, like currently various central bank are raising their rates because of the higher inflations. Therefore that kind of risk which is related to market, so those risks are called market risk. And market risk itself have a various sub risk, like we can have equity risk, we can have foreign exchange risk, then commodity risk, then we have interest rate risk. So here the market risk is broadly can be classified in these 4 categories. And first one is equity risk. Equity risk can be specific risk or can be a general risk. So equity can be again reclassified into 2 categories. Specific risk means that the risk is related to only that particular company or particular firm, whereas general risk is the market related to the total market. Like if you talk about company A and its quarterly result or maybe financial result declared, and their profit has come down drastically. Or they might have occurred some loss in their accounts. So in that case, this equity of this company will go down. So there are high possibility of that there will be a sell off in this particular share. So that is related to that specific risk related to that company. It's not related to the whole market. And general risk is the risk that is emanating from the various sources and which affect the market. Like sometime like COVID was there. COVID was not affecting only one particular sector or one particular, you can say, company. COVID was affecting the global market, and the global companies. So therefore this is the general risk, and something related to the company, that is called specific risk. So therefore equity risk can be broadly classified into specific and the general risk. Now we come to foreign exchange risk. Foreign exchange risk related to the, suppose some exporter is there, some importer is there. When they are exporting their goods, they are invoicing their product depending on their current market rate. Let's say one company is exporting, I'm just give example how this risk is there, and they are exporting garments, and when they are invoicing this their product, the current USD INR rate is, let's suppose, is 76. At this price they have this rate they have priced their product, and they got the orders, then they process it, then they make it shipment, and it will take some time. There is a time lag between they are generating invoice and actual export happens, and the export money come to their accounts. Let's say when they receive the total realization maybe after 2 months. See, and invoicing is done 2 months before, and when they receive their USD funds, the rate was 74. The rate was USD and was 74. So when they will sell their USD, they will get only 74. So that is the exchange risk they are carrying. When they are exporting, so they are invoicing at a one price, and when actually the money is coming, they are getting lesser INR for the equivalent dollars. So that is exchange risk. Similarly, it can happen to importer also. Is importer, the case will be reversed. Suppose when they make some kind of a obligations or some kind of contract, the USD was 76 per INR, but when actually they receive the goods and they have to make the payment, the rate had gone to 80. So for every dollar purchase, they have to pay the price of 80. So then they are exposed to the risk. So these are kind of exchange risk. There are many other kind of scenarios, but these are the broadly we can tell about export and import transactions. Then commodity risk. Commodity risk again related to, suppose some companies manufacturing steel, or they making the steel pipes or something which is used in the industrial sector, and this price of the commodities may go up. So then, and they have already priced their product to the market. In that case, there is chances of risk, or maybe the loss, or maybe their profit maybe little bit get squeezed. So these are the risks related to the commodities. It can be gold, it can be copper, can be zinc. So the price of these commodities are fluctuating because these are internationally traded commodities. So therefore, or maybe the oil, crude. So gold, jewelers are exposed to the gold rates, like airlines industries is exposed to the crude prices. Similarly, many industries are exposed to these commodities, and their price fluctuations also have an effect on their balance sheet. So this is an example of commodity risk. Now come to the interest rate risk. Interest rate risk is the risk when the interest rate changes against your positions. Suppose you are having a fixed income assets for 5 years. You have fixed income asset for 5 years, and you are getting, let's say, 7% per annum on this asset, this investment, and suddenly the interest rate goes to maybe this is for per year, and interest rate goes to per year maybe the 10%. So you already fixed your income at 7%, whereas the current rate is 10%. So this kind of the risk you are carrying whenever you are investing in fixed income securities or fixed income kind of assets. So you are carrying a risk of interest goes up, because whenever interest goes up, the price and the yield is having inverse relationship. The price goes down. It means if you sell those assets, you will get lesser price. So this way we can explain the interest rate risk. Interest rate risk can be not only limited to the interest rates going up and down. There can be interest rate risk related to the unparallel shift of the interest rate curve. Let me explain that thing, how that affect the portfolio of a company or maybe a organizations. If we have the interest rate risk yield curve, like it is 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 years, 6 years. So generally the yield curve of normal market is like this. If we, this is years, this is yield. Let's say this is 1, this is 2, this is 4. So 1 year interest rate will be around 1%. 2 year interest rate somewhere around 1.5%, and 3 year interest rate somewhere around 2.5%. So this is the interest rate yield curve, and when everybody assume that this yield curve will move in this direction. Suppose interest rate goes up, so this yield curve will parallelly shift like this. But this will not happen in the real world scenarios. Generally, when interest rate, suppose this is the yield curve, and this yield curve can be tilted like this. The short term rate doesn't go up, but the long term rate goes very high, and there can be another shift which says the short term rates will go a little bit high, but the long term rates will not go that much high. But this is unparalleled shift of the yield curve. This also affects the company's balance sheet for having the different positions according to their maturity and the you can say floating or fixed kind of assets they are having. So this kind of a interest rate unparalleled shifts also affect the company's balance sheet. So therefore you have to keep in mind whenever there can be questions ki what are the interest rate is there. It is not related to the only interest rate going up and down. There can be an unparalleled shift of the interest rate yield curve that also affect the company's portfolio. Now let me discuss about the credit risk. Now next is we will discuss credit risk. Credit risk again can be having some kind of a subdivision, like we can have a default risk, or settlement risk, or we can have downgrade. Downgrade means rating downgrade. And we can have bankruptcy. So here from the market perspective, the most important risk is the settlement risk. Again, I will define other risks also, but because time is little bit less, let me talk about the settlement risk. Settlement risk can be have two kind of, again, pre-settlement risk and another one is settlement risk. Pre-settlement risk is the risk which happens before settlement happens. Like suppose you have one contract with one, there are two parties. Let's say there are two parties, party A and B. Party A says he will give party B USD 1 million on 31st August 2022 at the rate of 75.50. This is the agreement, and he will give him USD dollars, and he will give him, B will give him INR. This rate is fixed. 1 million USD he will give to him, and equivalent INR B will give to him. And this is the one contract which is maturing on 31st August 2022. So now pre-settlement risk come to pictures when this party A or party B become bankrupt or may become insolvent before this date. Like let's say on 30th June, party B is become insolvent. It means that they cannot pay INR to the party A. But even the party A also not paid anything to party B. But only thing now, let's see, the exchange rate has gone to 74. Now current exchange rate is 74. So this party A has to now to make a new contract where the rate will be 74. So it means that they have lost 1.5 rupees per dollar because of the party B has become insolvent. So this is the pre-settlement risk both these parties carry. Even A can become insolvent or B can become insolvent before the maturity of the contract. So this is the pre-settlement risk. Settlement risk will happen only on, let's say, on 31st August 2022, because he has to pay him dollars, which is having a different kind of time zone and different kind of the bank accounts, and INR will be paid during the Indian times. So therefore there are a settlement risk. Suppose anybody pays, suppose he pays $1 million to party B and party B doesn't pay INR to party A. So therefore here the risk is very huge, because here the risk is of USD 1 million, and here the risk was only in the pre-settlement risk only the changes in the price. So this way we can understand what is settlement risk and what is pre-settlement risk. So friend, now because time is not permitting, so I will discuss the other kind of a credit risk and other type of risk like operational risk, liquidity risk, legal risk, and regulatory risk in my next video. So thanks for watching, and hopefully you people will be fine, and we will meet again. Thank you. Bye bye.